Emotions. Love them, hate them, eradicate them. While it's known that AI can't have emotions, MegaMan is the one exception. If you've played MegaMan Battle Network 4, 5, and 6, you'll likely know about the emotion window. We're told that this is an indicator of how MegaMan is feeling at any given time, but in practice, how his emotions work isn't really well explained. While it's introduced in Battle Network 4, let's skip ahead to Battle Network 6 for a second. Battle Network 6 uses a less complicated version of the emotion system, so it'll make much more sense if we start here rather than 4 or 5. Battle Network 6's emotions work more or less in a flowchart type system. It brings us 4 basic emotions: calm, angry, full synchro, and tired. Calm has no special trait. This is the default emotion you'll enter in most cases. Angry is an emotion that has 2 ways to enter it. You need to either take 300 damage within the same second, or be stunned, frozen, or otherwise stuck in the knocked aback position for longer than 2 seconds. When you're in the angry emotion, MegaMan has super armor, meaning that he can't be knocked aback, and his next attacking chip will deal double damage. This state will automatically end after launching an attack chip, and it'll also naturally fade after about 10 seconds. In either case, MegaMan will return to the calm emotion. The next emotion we'll discuss is full synchro. Full synchro is activated by hitting the opponent at the exact moment they're about to attack you, which is called a counter hit. However, in order to achieve full synchro, you need to hit the opponent with a non-time freezing attacking chip. Navi chips and attacks that pause the battle won't work. While in full synchro, MegaMan enters a heightened state, and his next attack will deal double damage. However, unlike the angry emotion, this bonus will effectively last forever as long as MegaMan isn't hit by an enemy attack. However, once you use a damage dealing chip or take damage yourself, you'll instantly switch back to calm. One of the biggest features of full synchro is that when you're fighting an AI opponent, they'll briefly flash before they launch their next attack. This allows you to learn each enemy's window of opportunity to land a counter hit, so you can keep comboing full synchro. Calm and full synchro are the only emotions that can be used by every Navi in Battle Network 6, so you can always use full synchro to your advantage regardless of who you're operating. Full synchro can also be used by specific transformation, Beast Out Gregar and Beast Out Falzar. All other transformations, which are the 10 crosses and their beast crossed counterparts, are unable to enter full synchro or anger. Speaking of Beast Out, the next emotion, Tired, is activated as a result of using Beast Out for too long. When you first obtain Beast Out, you'll notice there's an emotion counter next to MegaMan's emotion window. Once it hits 0, MegaMan will lose his Beast Out transformation and will enter the Tired emotion upon opening the custom screen. While MegaMan's tired, he can't enter any other emotion. If he goes into a cross, he'll also still retain the Tired emotion. However, if the counter is at 0, you'll notice the Beast Out icon will be usable once again. If you click it, you'll enter a special state called Beast Over. When in Beast Over, you have no control over MegaMan. He'll act on his own and jump around the field randomly as if he were an AI opponent. Once the custom gauge refills, the turn will automatically end, and MegaMan will enter a new emotion. This emotion has been called Very Tired, but I prefer to call it Fatigued or Desperation. When MegaMan is in this desperate state, his HP will decrease at a rapid pace, and all of his buster stats will be set to 1. These stats will also remain 1, even if you use a chip like Buster Up to increase your power. Additionally, MegaMan can't enter any other transformation or emotion for the rest of the battle. If you enter Beast Over or Desperation, you'll begin the next battle in the Tired emotion, and you won't be able to Beast Over. On a similar note, if you somehow get into the Tired emotion while the emotion counter is 1 or higher, you won't be able to Beast Out. And that's everything for Battle Network 6. While it's definitely an involved system, it's pretty easy to use in practice. Battle Network 4 and 5, however, are complicated. Both 4 and 5 use the same system to determine your emotional state, but they each have small differences. Let's go over the simplest emotion first. Anger. This is the only emotion besides calm that's basically the same across Battle Network 4, 5, and 6. If you get stunned in place for 2 seconds, you become angry for the next 10. Battle Network 5 and 6 are the only ones that share the 300 damage rule, although if you've ever been on the receiving end of a Super Vulcan, it may as well be in Battle Network 4. Next we have Full Synchro again, which also has the same requirements in Battle Network 4, 5, and 6. However, in Battle Network 4 only, Full Synchro has a few quirks. The first is if you enter Full Synchro, but don't use an attacking chip, Full Synchro will fade away naturally after 10 seconds, just like Anger. This happens even if you don't get hit. The next quirk about Battle Network 4's full synchro is that you can activate it without ever landing a counter hit. This is related to the emotion value. The emotion value is a hidden stat that Mega Man has in Battle Network 4 and 5. It ranges from 1 to 255, and its starting value varies depending on how you play the game. How your emotion value is set at the beginning of each battle is outside of the scope of this guide, but you should know that it has to do with how often you use dark chips. All you need to know for now is that your emotion value will start somewhere between 126 and 190 at the beginning of each battle. If you've never used dark chips, it'll always start at 190. In Battle Network 4 and 5, if your emotion value is at 255, the maximum, you are in full synchro. If it is anything else, you are not in full synchro. The quirk comes from how changing the emotion value works. Basically, every attack that deals damage to your HP also deals emotional damage to your emotional value. The quirk comes in two parts. First, each time you get hit, you lose emotion value based on the emotional damage of the attack. But also, each time you hit an enemy with a non-time freezing battle chip attack, you gain emotion value equal to the emotional damage you inflict. The exact amount of emotional damage each attack does isn't well documented, but each hit deals the same amount of emotional damage. This means that multi-hit attacks like Super Vulcan increase your emotion value significantly faster than stronger chips, even if you're dealing less damage to their HP. You can also gain emotion value by using recovery chips, but multi-hit attacks are more effective. Note that while the time freezing chip roll does increase your emotion value, she only increases your emotion value during the part of her attack that heals you. Her multi-hit attack doesn't. A second part of this quirk is based on how Battle Network 4 handles the emotion value. In Battle Network 5, the emotion value caps at 254, just 1 point below the maximum. Full synchro can be achieved if your emotion value is 255. So with this restriction, you can never achieve full synchro just by increasing your emotion value alone. You need to land a counter hit. However, in Battle Network 4, you can. As long as you keep dealing damage with non-time freezing attack, your emotion value will continue to increase all the way up to 255. This means you can enter full synchro without landing a counter hit once. On that note, landing a counter hit automatically sets your emotion value to 255. So if you take any damage, you'll also take emotional damage, which will then decrease your emotion value below 255, and you'll be knocked out of full synchro. When you use your next chip attack, your emotion value is set to 153 in Battle Network 4 and 128 in Battle Network 5. In Battle Network 4, if full synchro fades away after 10 seconds, it'll also reset back to 153. Full synchro also has another secret use in Battle Network 5 Double Team DS. These are called double attacks. You can activate these by switching to another Navi while your active Navi is currently in full synchro. It doesn't matter who that Navi is either. Sadly, this was only in the DS game and not in the Game Boy Advance game, so this feature isn't in the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. Now that we've covered full synchro at length, we can explain the next set of emotions: worried and evil. Both of these emotions are linked together and go hand in hand. The worried emotion is achieved when Mega Man's emotion value hits 65 or lower. In this state, he can no longer go into Soul Unison or Chaos Unison. In Battle Network 4, 2 random dark chips from a set list of 8 will appear in your custom window, separate from your normal battle chip. In Battle Network 5, if you have a dark chip in your folder, and you've used at least one battle chip this turn, that dark chip is guaranteed to appear on the following turn. In both cases, the custom window cursor will automatically hover the first available dark chip by default. This perfectly segues into the evil emotion, also known as the dark emotion. Simply put, if you're in the evil emotion, you can no longer use Soul Unison or Chaos Unison. Good chips will poof away when used. Another hidden stat called Karma will also decrease. If your Karma falls to 469 or lower, Mega Man will enter the next battle in the evil emotion. In Battle Network 4 only, if you're in the evil emotion at the end of a battle against an Omega level boss, you'll automatically earn its DS chip as a reward regardless of your rank. This doesn't work in Battle Network 5, which changed the requirement to get DS Navi chips and made it a little easier to obtain them without corrupting your soul. In Battle Network 4, entering the evil emotion is the only way to obtain DS chips before you reach Black Earth 2, which is the last area in the game. So it all comes down to your playstyle. There's more to the evil emotion and the karma system as a whole, but for the purposes of the emotion window itself, this covers everything you need to know. Final emotion is another exclusive feature to Double Team DS, Danger Emotion, also known as Critical. The requirements to get this emotion with MegaMan are simple. First, have an emotion value of 65 or less, which is the same requirement for the Worried emotion. Next, you need to have 25% or less of your maximum HP. For Team Navis, the only requirement is to have their HP be 25% of their maximum or less. Once the Danger emotion is in effect, you can shout into the DS's microphone to instantly bring that Navi into full synchro, and you'll also gain a random effect based on how loud your shout was. You can either recover some HP, increase your buster stats, or gain a barrier. The chances for each are listed on screen. Besides your volume shout, the only thing affecting each effect's chance is whether or not you already have a barrier when you speak into the mic. I personally like to sing like an opera star when I'm in the Danger emotion. It works pretty well. Once this boost is received, you can't get it for the rest of the battle. As a result, the Danger emotion cannot be achieved for the rest of the battle either, even if you switch navis. And, sadly, like the double attack feature, the Danger emotion wasn't included in the Legacy Collection. But honestly, since I don't think we want people screaming into their switches, it's probably for the best. Fun part is that Battle Network 5's 3 crosses are actually able to use the full range of the emotion window, unlike the crosses in Battle Network 6. This even includes the Double Team exclusive Soul Cross, the embodiment of the sun, which means it can enter the evil motion and access the power of darkness, which is hilarious. But there's another secret to the emotion window. What if I told you you could have MegaMan switch emotions almost at will? This is caused by the emotion bug, which can be achieved with some patch cards and Navi customizer programs. I've already discussed how it works before, so if you're interested, feel free to check that out. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.